Hello everybody, we might not like our work or we might even hate our work for a bunch of different reasons. The work might be not stimulating us intellectually, or the manager might be an idiot, or even the culture might be bad. The reasons could be N, and we might think about, hey, let's switch the job and we are done with this shit. But unfortunately, these things can't happen once you start jumping into your 30s. And why is that? Because in your 20s, you are still kind of entering into your career, you are still in your early stages, and you might say, hey, I will leave this and do something else as a fresher. But after you get 8 to 10 years experience and working for 2-3 companies, doing more switches is actually not so good on your resume. And you can't even jump into a new field because you have already built 8 to 10 years of work experience. And if you are leaving all of that on the table and not leveraging that experience, it simply means that you are leaving a lot of money on the table. So guys, the misery in 30s from a career standpoint is real. And let me tell you, you are not alone. I'm in my 30s, a lot of my friends are in 30s, and this is a common thought that we all go through. In this video and potentially in a few more upcoming videos, I want to talk about how to think about these challenges, how we can potentially overcome them, and also, is there a way in which we can become little more self-aware. So let's get started with what are some of the solutions that we pursue. The first thing that we do is, of course, say, hey, now I'm entering into my 30s or I'm in my 30s already. I'm starting a small family. So work is work, second priority for me right now. That is one option. The second option is I'll just switch jobs. The third option is I will get on an upskilling course. I will try to learn Tableau. I'll try to learn this. I'll try to learn that. Well, there was an interesting comment from the CEO of Upgrad recently that 80% of the learners or the enrollments on Upgrad platform are happening with folks who have more than 8 years experience. That is, folks in their 30s. But end of the day, we don't even complete these things because we have a 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 job, and these things are only taking our weekends or typically the late evening hours. And there are too many competing priorities. And in 20 days time, we are getting started with another hugely important priority, that is IPL. So all in all, it is not easy task. It is not easy to manage these things. And on top of this, one other important thing is we don't even have a right mentor. It's very hard to find a mentor and experience that you are looking forward to gain. The common question is, it's not about the lack of people. It's about what's in it for them. We are in a capitalistic world and everybody is trying to maximize their time with respect to the value they generate out of it. So it becomes difficult and the struggles are once again real. This is a profound topic, guys. Now, even I am in my 30s and I went through a lot of these things right from the early stages of 30s. And this is how I look at it. I would think about it in terms of a framework. Why do you want to do something? What do you want to do? And how can you get there? These are tough questions, and we potentially might get into that circular loop of, hey, I start here and I get back to the same starting point after 6 months. So it's important to have a structured plan which we can execute so that we are not just falling in that loop. And how do we decide on why should we do something? I'll start with my own example. I had a few non-negotiables. For me, it is in my entire 20s, I spent a lot of time working away from home. I had to spend Monday through Friday in a different city in consulting world. So as soon as I decided to switch that job, I said, no more traveling. My first priority is spending good amount of time with my family. What is your non-negotiable? It could be living in a city. It could be working on a technology, or it could be something like me, spending more time with your family. You need to decide on that non-negotiable and then see what are some of the possibilities within that entire spectrum. What are your likes and dislikes? I personally enjoyed working in the education space. This started through a non-profit experience, which I did purely to improve my overall profile for an MBA college, but it stuck with me. The impact was there. I personally connected with it a lot. And that is the reason why I liked the education sector and I wanted to continue in it. Now, what is the sector that you want to work in? It could be because of your experience that, hey, I like this kind of work, so I want to continue here. Identify the non-negotiables. Identify what is in it for you. Identify what you like versus dislike. And this is the starting point. And once you figure out these things, it becomes easier for you to build a timetable around it and potentially devise what are the 3 or 4 ways in which you can attack them. Before we jump into how to tackle these situations, a quick request. If you believe that a series on how to actually get better in our careers in 30s is an interesting topic for you, please do let me know in the comments and I'll continue to make a series of videos around the same. Or if you are interested in meeting folks with similar ideologies, do let me know in the comments, or I'll attach a Google form, go fill it out and we can start conducting networking events if there is enough interest. Now, to attack this problem, we need to also devise a plan on how we are going to get there. Now, one of the most important ways is picking that right role model. Somebody who is already been there and done that. Whatever you are planning to do, it is not about you going and speaking with them. That interactions can happen or cannot happen. That is all fine. But what is more important is if there is a possibility for you to learn from them, either through social media or through a blog or through a conversation, you have to notice what are some of the potential pitfalls so that you don't commit those mistakes and hopefully save some years as well. Identify those role models, more than one if possible. The second one is this journey is usually very lonely. It is highly important that you build that right kind of network. I'm not talking about the chai break, sutta break wala friends, but I'm talking about folks who can intellectually open up and have conversations about business, about how you want to deal through these situations, etc. And the right kind of network could be built through LinkedIn, through your work, or even just through your comments. And building network is a difficult thing for a lot of people. And the question that you ask is, hey, how do I reach out to these people? But no, that should not be the question that you should be asking. The question is, why would somebody talk to me? What is the value add that you can provide in this capitalistic world? How can happen through n number of ways? Why is a more important question. And you have to establish your own credibility there. Either through these comments or on LinkedIn or in your office, you have to become the go-to guy for two things after 8 to 10 years of experience especially. And this will open up a lot of gates for you. And that is how networking will begin organically. You don't have to reach out to folks through cold calls. You already have enough experience, guys, and you have to leverage that. The second thing, once you know what you want to do based on your likes, dislikes, and a structure around it, and you are able to connect with a few people, it is all about time boxing your efforts. What do I mean by time boxing? We wake up, we have a 9 to 9 job, and we are mentally exhausted by the time we come back. So when do you get time to think about your career holistically, to do things which are probably out of the box? It is extremely difficult, and that is the reason why you need to make sure, whether it is the morning 6 to 7 or it is the night 10 to 11:30 or whenever it is, or a 4-hour or a 6-hour block on the weekend, you have to commit time. And once you know why you want to do what you want to do, this time box will actually make a lot more sense. If you ask me personally how I do it right now, I do have a proper time box between 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. so that I can work specifically on the YouTube scripts. And I also have a time box in the afternoon to work on something different. And these time boxes keep me sane. There are a lot of other ways in which you can attack these problems as well. Do let me know in the comments if this is something which would be helpful for you. How do you deal with your career in your 30s? And the most important thing of all is, I hope you actually become self-aware that this is not just your problem, but this is a profound problem that a lot of us will face. Thank you so much, guys. See you again in the next one. Bye-bye.